Hello and welcome. This is Joyce Odidison at joyceodidison.com. So welcome back. You have gone ahead and downloaded the WISLife assessment, and now you're like, Joyce, what do I do with this? How do I find out? Well, good question. Let's go through it together. So as you can see, there are 9 dimensions. The core is the interpersonal. Let's just pick our spiritual and start working with that. So in spiritual, there are several key life areas. There are self-esteem, personal style, vision, purpose. There is culture, core values, beliefs. Don't worry about the bullets. Just pick any 5 to work on. So I'm going to pick purpose in the first line. I'm going to add it here on the spiritual. So you notice we give you a box for each of the dimension. So just go ahead and put your first one in there. So I'm going to put purpose as my number 1. I'm going to put trust as my number 2. That's on the last line. I'm going to go back up into the second line and I'm going to pick core values. So I've got 3. Then I'm going to go back up to the first line. I'm going to pick self-esteem. That's my 4th. And I'm going to come back to the bottom line and I'm going to pick faith. And that will be my 5th one. So you only pick 5 because we're going to pick 5. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves and measure everything and we'll be doing that forever. So we're going to pick 5 that are relevant to you. And that's what we say here, right? I want you to pick the ones that are really important to you, that you feel, reflect, you want to find out how you're doing in. That's sort of relevant to your life, right? And pick those, and then we're going to ask ourselves the question. We're going to ask, how well am I doing in this area? How well am I feeling or experiencing this area of self-esteem? So how well am I doing in that whole area of self-esteem? How do I feel about myself? How well do I do when I think about, my self-worth, my values? What about my relationships? Or do my relationships reflect? How well does my relationship reflect my self-esteem? Right? So because of the way we feel about ourselves, our self-esteem, we will choose friends that probably are not good for us. Values, maybe the other one. I'll ask myself, how well am I doing in that area? Am I aligned with my values? Do I know what my top 10 values are? Do I feel like I'm in alignment with my values? Or are there things I need to do? Or am I picking the values I would like to have or the values I'm currently practicing? So we really want to assess how well we're doing in this area. How well do I feel? How well am I experiencing that area? How well are those in my life experiencing me through issues of self-esteem, beliefs, values, right? Purpose. How well am I executing my purpose in my life, in my relationships? How well are others experiencing me and my purpose in my relationships? So these are the things we are looking for, we're assessing. So if what's happening in your life is good for your wellness, so I have a sense of purpose, I'm focused on that, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. If that is happening, then I would give myself a higher score on a scale of 1 to 10. Where 0 is, poorly and 10 is excellent, I would give myself like a 7, 8. If I am not feeling good about myself and I'm not doing well and my relationships aren't doing well, then I would probably give myself around a 3, 4, depending on how much growth I think I need to have in that area. Now the question always comes up, Joyce, what if I think I'm at a 10? So I'm going to answer that question for you. Here's what I tell my participants when I'm facilitating this, either my students who are learning to facilitate it with clients, when I teach this to coaches and facilitators and other trainers, or I do it with my clients. And they say, Joyce, what if everything is going well in this area and I give myself a 10? Here's what I say. If you are completely full in that area, meaning that if the universe had blessings for you in that area and was going to bring you some blessing, and you say, oh, forget it, God, I don't need any blessing, I am full, I cannot take any, you just keep it, that's when you give yourself a 10. If you could still add blessings and good things could still happen for you in this area, then you're not 8 or 10. Simple. Just ask yourself, do I have room for more good things in this area? And then you will know if you're at a 10. If you have no room and every blessing, no matter how good it is, you had no room for it in that area, then you're at a 10. And I say you shouldn't even be doing the assessment. Right? So, as most of us would like more blessings, they can always take on more. I don't think any of us are at the 10 yet. Right? I'm not a 10 in anything. I have lots of room for blessings. And so that is the whole analogy behind it, is that we're looking for where is the room for growth, for blessing. What that does, it helps you to be now very laser focused on what you ask for, what you meditate on, and what you want to bring into your life. So where do you feel you want more blessing? It's not necessarily on how badly you're doing. This is about WISLife assessment. It's about taking your life to the next level of wellness. So where do you want to go on a scale of 1 to 10? It all depends on where you want to go. If you are very close to where you need to be, then by all means give yourself a high score. But if you want room enough to grow in those areas and to do better and to be more blessed so you can be a blessing to others, then you would give yourself the appropriate score so you can tell the universe, I am making room for more and I need you to fill me up here because I have an uncle, an auntie, I have a friend, I know co-workers, I know people who need support in this area, who I can support in this area. So bless me in this area. So when you start meditating now, you can identify where you want the blessings to fill up. Does that make sense? That's why I talk about being laser focused in your life and being very clear on what it is you want. That's what we talk about when we talk about WISLife. It's not about how badly you're doing. It's about how much better you want your life to be. That's the whole concept of the WISLife assessment. What's blocking you? Where are you not focusing to get more blessing, more energy? And that's what we want to do. So that's the exercise. And what I would like to invite you to do is to do that same exercise for each dimension here. And by the time you finish, I want to invite you to journal. Actually, I like to say just do one at a time and then journal around the key life areas you want to start manifesting into your life. More blessings on, more areas for development and growth. So what does this happens is by the end of the year, you've spent concentrated time on each dimension of your life, really drawing in more energy, more blessing, more growth, more fulfillment in every aspect of your life. I want to hear what your life is going to be like in a year's time, because every year that I do this, I see the transformation, I see the growth, I see the development. And my clients do, my students do. So I want to challenge you to do the same thing for yourself. Do it every month. We pick one. This month we're working, January, we work on spiritual. So if you're seeing this video in February, start with the spiritual and work your way through the others. It doesn't mean you have to start with spiritual. So I just want to take that back. You can start anywhere you want. So if you want to start on spiritual, go ahead. If you want to start on emotional, you can go ahead. When you come to the emotional dimension, I want to have one caveat here, is that you're going to see things like delusion, anger, fear, resentment. I want to invite you to ask yourself, are those good for your wellness? No. So the more of those you have in your life, it's going to be a little bit opposite. Not a little bit, it's going to be opposite to how you score the other areas. So when you were looking at spiritual and we do self-esteem and we ask you how well are you doing, you're going to look, is fear and anger good for your wellness? No. So if you have a lot of fear and anger in your life, then you should give yourself a lower score. And then you're going to say, I need to clear this out of my life. And that will be your focus and your meditation and your manifestation in your life, is to clear that out and make room for some of the things like optimism. You want to make things like self-awareness. You want to make room for things like joy and happiness. You want to clear out the clutter in the other areas, right? So you can make room. So you want to move down the scale of anger, move down the scale of fear, move down the scale of resentment, so you can make room for optimism, for good things in your life. That's what I talk about when I say the WISLife. It's about how we manage our life. It's about what we focus on and what we manifest in our lives. And so this morning I was talking to someone in my group and talks about the fears that were coming up. And as I do this, I remember I need to send an email to that person about the fears that's coming up for them and how they can deal with it. Because that is so important. Many of us deal with fear, and we're so fear-based in our life. We're fearful of the worst case scenario, and we forget that we have control. We can come here and take our time, and we can write it out, and we can write down our fears, and we can start manifesting the decrease. Start looking when you start working on it. The things you want less of, I want you to start visualizing them getting smaller and smaller, taking up less room in your life. And the things you want more of, I want you to start visualizing them getting bigger, 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 and taking up more room in your life and creating more opportunities in your life. So this is how we do the wellness assessment, the WISLife assessment. And then once you finish and you've done that for all your 8 dimensions, you don't get to do the interpersonal on this one. We're going to focus in on the other life dimensions. Once you do that, we want you to tally your numbers. Then you're going to divide it by 5 because you only did 5. And then you will get your score. So your WIS assessment score, your WISLife assessment score, it will tell you what number you are out of 8. So you will divide that by 8. And then it will give you your number. And when in a subsequent video, I will talk about what the numbers mean, wellness deficit, if you're going all the different, what it means when you're in a certain range, and you will find out what it is, and you'll get an idea of where you are. And that will also help you even more focus, laser focus in your meditation, in your visualization, in your prayers, in what you're asking for, and what you're manifesting more of in your life. So this is Joyce Odidison. Thank you for joining. I wish you well in your life. I want you to have the very best life. And this is one of the reasons why I'm sharing this. Take it, share with a friend. Look at the people in your life. Who else needs to have a WISLife? Share with them. Share this video. Leave a comment. Tell me how this is impacting you, what you're noticing, what you're going to be working on. I can't wait to hear from you. Take care. JoyceOdidison.com. Be well. Bye-bye now.